This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. Plus, SGPN is giving away $2,000 in our free March Madness bracket competition. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket to sign up today. And definitely gear up for March Madness with Merch Madness. Promo code MADNESS for 20% off in the SGPN store. Go in, grab a March Madness shirt, grab a Golf Gambling Podcast shirt. Definitely helps us out. 20% off, promo code MADNESS. We're here, the Players' Championship. What do you want to call it? The fifth major. A very fun week. I'm very happy to be heading up to Ponte Vedra tonight to get the boots, get the juices flowing, and talk some players. So Bay Hill wasn't our best week. We've had better weeks in terms of picks, in terms of DFS outlooks, in terms of bets. But you're not going to win every week in the golf gambling space. You just if someone says they will, they are definitely lying to you. And we had a bad week at Bay Hill, but we move on. We could definitely attack the players. So I'm going to bring up you know what we do. I'm going to bring up the DFS board and go through guy by guy, range by range, and see who we got. We have a big range of 10K and above, but I think we should group this into, now let's just go. We have Cantlay at 10K, JT, Ludwig, Maury, Xander, Rory, Scotty. I think we can touch on three guys in this range that we like, and then maybe two guys we don't like and reasons why. So let's start at the top. Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Scotty Scheffler got the $12,000 $800 price, which is a lot, but don't worry. We have a 5K range to pair with Scotty Scheffler if you want to go that route. So we'll get there when we get there. But the Players' Championship, Scotty Scheffler 12-8. So I guess we can decide between Rory and Scotty. I think people are done with Rory already after what he did last week. It was just, he didn't play bad golf, but he didn't play great. And this is not a golf course that Rory McIlroy has the protege that Scotty does. So I think at the top, everyone's going to go to Scotty, even at that 12-8 price. But the 5K range gives you that avenue to click him. But I will say, Rory is a tinkerer. Rory switched his driver out, and it didn't go well. He's back in the new driver, or back in the old driver. That was the new driver. And he feels a lot more comfortable, talks about how I don't know why he did what he did. He talked about that. He's like, I don't know why I did it. I led the field off the tee the first two tournaments I played this year, and I switched to what I did. Rory being Rory. But if Rory gets a generational driver week, which I think he can, he will not win, but he will beat Scotty Scheffler. Hot take. He will beat Scotty Scheffler if that's the case. Now, Scotty, he led the field off the tee at the Arnold Palmer. But I will say, the landing areas, the sight lines, the visuals off the tee at the Players are a lot different than the ones at Bay Hill. And now looking at Scotty's driver, the first two events he's played in the season, it was not great. And they're not quite comparable, but the driving lines, the driving sight lines at both Pebble Beach, both at TPC Scottsdale are not the easiest sight lines, whereas Bay Hill, they're not very intimidating. So now he gets back to a narrow landing areas at TPC Sawgrass. Obviously, he's played well here before, but I could see the lefts coming in, and I can see the narrow misses coming in and biting him at this place. I just don't think the driver is quite there yet for Scotty Scheffler, even though he did have a good week off the tee. But I think that was a product of the sight lines, the way Bay Hill sets up off the tee. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Rory up here. I'll touch on Xander quickly. I don't think he's ready. All right, $10,000 and 500 below. Colin Morikawa, Ludwig, JT, Patrick Cantlay. I like Ludwig a lot. I really do. He had a good result here in his only trip last year, and he spoke about, he said he lives up in this area now. He lives in Ponte Vedra, and he said, this is one of my favorite golf courses in the world. Visually, one of my favorite golf courses to play. He thinks it's difficult, but he thinks it's a good test, and he likes it. He's obviously, like I said, played well here last year, and he drove it so well last week and so well to basically start this season. 2 straight weeks of him gaining off the tee, 2 straight events. And his solo 8 last year, he gained 11 strokes ball striking. That's one of the better ball striking weeks he's ever had. So we could pair that with a nice putting week. And Ludwig's a fine putter. He's been okay on his only week at the Bermuda this year, gained 1.8 at the Players. So I really think it's a perfect storm for Ludwig. I'm going to be high on him. I might go to him. If you go to Scotty and go to Ludwig, you have to make I could see them going 1-2. You could craft something up, and maybe we'll craft something up at the end of this show. Oh shit! Let me see screen. You could craft maybe we'll craft something up at the end of this podcast if you do a Scotty Ludwig lineup. But I really do think there's an avenue for both of these guys to make your lineup and both these guys to play really well. So the rest of this 10K range, obviously Colin. I think Colin's gonna be really chalky after what he did last week, and it's a golf course that makes sense for him on paper. I think I'm out on the chalk, and his best results have came on like big board tracks. Not that this isn't a big board track, but big, long, gotta hit the long iron tracks over the last 2 years. So I'll leave Colin. I like Ludwig. JT, man. I just can't justify going $100 less for JT when Ludwig Aberg's right there. That's just what I'm going to say. I can't justify it. And then Pat, I'm fine with Pat too, but why would I just throw my eggs out of the Ludwig basket if I like him so much? So in this 10K range, Rory and Ludwig are my two guys that I really, really, really like. Okay. 9K range, we have Hideki Matsuyama, Tommy Fleetwood, Sungjae Im, Daniel Berger, Russell Henley, Wyndham Clark, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland. Let's start bottom up. Victor, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau, Sam Burns, Wyndham Clark. One guy in this range that I like, it's Shane Lowry. Shane Lowry has been playing some really, really good golf. He obviously was a 36-hole leader at the Arnold Palmer, obviously almost won at Pebble Beach. And this is a golf course that he hasn't really played too well in his career. But when you look on paper, it checks out for Shane Lowry's game. He's going to hit fairways. He's going to hit greens. And when he gets hot with the putter, he gets hot with the putter. He loves Florida golf. So I'm down for Shane to take that next step in his career, get into the mix at a big event like the Players. Right above him is $9,300 Sam Burns. We have to have a Sam Burns State of the Union because I might say that he's on potential Corn Ferry watch. Look at his ball striking numbers from the Arnold Palmer Invitational. The dude lost like 10.3 strokes on approach. That is some of the most unserious stuff you can present to yourself. So Sam Burns on a big boy golf course where you have to hit really solid shots, and it's tough. Like, what's going on with Sam Burns? And being out there, I've seen him. He looked loose, and I didn't think it was going to be that loose. Losing over like a 12 strokes ball striking is not what I wanted to see from Sam Burns. I mean, I didn't bet him or play him at all, but Sam Burns, totally out on. Wyndham Clark, another guy, totally out on. I have to talk about Wyndham Clark last year going into this event. He was playing such amazing, and we need to talk about how impressive that was because Wyndham Clark as a golfer is generally looser off the tee, hits that big fade, generally doesn't make sense for a golf course like TPC Sawgrass. The amount of dialed he was last year to nearly win at TPC Sawgrass with the game that he presents is so impressive. And I'll say right now, he's not that golfer. He's much more loose off the tee. Like when he was in first or in second at Bay Hill, I had zero concern that he wasn't going to come back down to earth because he was making like 65-foot par putts, all with the putter. The ball striking is lost right now for Wyndham Clark. And heading to a golf course like TPC Sawgrass, you're going to find yourself in some trouble. So I'm totally out on Wyndham at 9,400. Love Shane Lowry at 91. Towards the middle of this 9K range, I want to take a closer look at Sungjae Im. I really do. And I also want to look at Tommy Fleetwood because I kind of talked up Tommy Fleetwood last week, and so did Dom. And he finished T11. That's what Tommy Fleetwood does. He backdoors those finishes, and he'll make you some money every once in a while. So where is Sungjae Im? Let me see. Sungjae Im. I for some reason he's not on my sheet. I want to see his ball striking, so I'm gonna bear with me for a second. I really want to see. Never mind. It's not up anywhere. Sungjae Im, though, he did not play well, and he was not. I was talking to him talking to his caddy last week, and he talked about his shoulder being hurt. So I was surprised that he even made the cut. But Tommy Fleetwood is there. And I do want to look at Tommy Fleetwood's profile in terms of ball striking, in terms of what he brings to the table. And hot take, Tommy Fleetwood is absolutely striping it. He gained almost 5 strokes ball striking. Just only thing he didn't do was putt well last week, which is obviously a concern. And looking at his Players' Championship history, he's had some decent result here. He's got 2 top 10s, and he's only missed 1 cut in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trips. So I think Tommy will continue that good play. I think it's an unserious bet, but I think it's a good DFS play. So Tommy is my guy up here. And towards the middle of this range, I don't mind going to Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger fought last week for a T11, I believe, or a T15, something like that. It was, T15. hit the driver really well. Just was about average with the approach, but this is a better golf course for Daniel Berger. Back-to-back T13 finishes. He's got 2 T10s here, and this is definitely a Berger golf course. I think that's going to be good to get off that Russ Henley chalk at a very similar price. So Daniel Berger, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, I do not mind in the 9K range. All right, let's get to the 8K range and the 7K range down below. So Maverick McNeely leads us off down to Benon and Min Woo Lee. So this range is definitely very interesting. I know a guy by the name of Sepp Straka is going to be really, really, really chalky. I definitely want to look at his profile last week because I do think it might be a little bit of a, it was all putting last week. And I saw him in the practice rounds not looking good off the tee. He ended up losing strokes off the tee. And if you're going to lose strokes off the tee at TPC Sawgrass, you're going to be in the water. You're going to be in for a slow week. So I'm not buying Sepp, who was all with the putter. I actually think he's a really good fade in all markets. So I'm definitely out on Sepp. I'm going to go with Will Zalatoris, like right above him. The dude cannot putt for shit, but he striped it last week. Will Zalatoris gained 8 strokes ball striking. That was Will Zalatoris' best ball striking week. I'm going to tell you, because this was a generational week last week from Will Zalatoris. That was his best ball striking week since Bay Hill last year. The dude is a Bay Hill merchant, low key. I mean, the dude, he lost 6.1 strokes putting. That was his worst putting week since the Players last year. So it's kind of, the dots are connecting. He's not a Bermuda Mon. But I do think the ball striking will make him play well, make the cut, maybe a top 15 finish. Towards the middle of this range, I do like Bob Mack at $8,300. Just so steady, hits fairways, hits greens. I worry about how many putts he'll make, but Bob Mack to make the cut and just play well, like top 20 floor, I think, is Bob Mack. So I'm down for him at this $8,300. So let's get into the 7, 6, and 5K range. Before we get there, I want to talk to you real quick about Edge Boost. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the site. So you can earn up to $750 a month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. The card is FDIC insured. No credit checks, completely free. Sign up today, the promo code SGPN, so you can get better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status. Also, mybookie.ag. We are brought to you by MyBookie. It's the place to bet every single sport, props for every single game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations. Easy deposit using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code GOLFSGPN. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code GOLF SGPN, 100% deposit match up to $1,000. And finally, Rhythm. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first 4 watch party March 19th at the Circa in Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from SGPN. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky user. Come by and use Rhythm to fill up your bracket. Rhythm March Madness stats from 2024. With UConn winning, our percentage of winners was 39% higher than ESPN brackets as a whole. Rhythm had 34% of brackets. ESPN had 24.7%. Rhythm predicted Duquesne, NC State, and Oakland upsets. 45% of Rhythm brackets had NC State reaching the Sweet 16. So a free party plus a chance for $250. Great insight. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. Okay. 7K range, 6K range, and 5K range. 7K range. How chalky will Corey Connors be at $7,900? I think he will be too chalky to make his case worth it. I really do. I don't think you want to mess with it, but he does make sense. I think there's some nice pivots down at 7K range. I do want to take a look at Davis Thompson, a guy I've been high on the last 2 weeks, but he has not panned out. So Davey T, the putter has been really bad. The ball striking is not horrible right now. I think we keep going back to Davis Thompson because there's going to be a week where he really, really pops. Another guy who will be really chalky is Keegan Bradley. He striped it. I could see him being some good chalk. There might be some rain in the forecast, which Keegan likes the rain. Down towards the middle of the 7K range, this is a great price for Sahith Theegala. Very volatile, but we know what Sahith's ceiling could be. And Sahith, like, you can almost win at TPC River Highlands. You can make it happen here at TPC Sawgrass. So I think Sahith, $7,400. He's not even going to be chalky at all. I'm down. Cameron Davis, he'll make too many 8s this week, but I do think he'll make a ton of birdies, which is a good sign. I want to take a look at Max Grazerman because he played well last week, but it was all with the putter. He gained about almost 6 strokes short game and lost about 3 strokes on ball striking. So I'm definitely out on Max Grazerman. A guy that I love down towards the bottom of the 7K range is Aaron Rye, $7,100. Aaron Rye at the core is a very, very accurate golfer. He's going to hit a ton of fairways, and he's great with his middle and long irons. He's T4 at Vedanta, T11 at Bay Hill, and he gained 3 strokes ball striking last week. He gained 12 strokes ball striking at Vedanta. Aaron Rye's hitting the ball really, really well. He's in for a great week. And then Akshay Bhatia at 7K. Great price for the ceiling that he brings to the table. I do worry the ball striking is not great, but this is definitely a really, really good course for Akshay. T9 at Solo 9 at Mexico. Missed the cut at Bay Hill, but Bay Hill is not really an Akshay course. I think this is a much better position for Akshay to hit a ton of fairways and be really good on approach. Okay, 6K range. This is Ben Griffin's Super Bowl, to be honest. Ben Griffin is going to be super excited for this week. He's a Bermuda merchant. He's going to hit a ton of fairways, and you just play Ben Griffin in these settings. Like Bay Hill is a Bermuda golf course, but tee to green wise, horrible for Ben Griffin. He ended up still making the cut and finishing T45, which is it didn't cash you anything, but for Ben Griffin, that was a good week. This is a much better golf course for Ben Griffin. But I really do like a guy down below him. $6,600, Ricky Fowler. This is the first time I've ever been like excited for Ricky Fowler, because thinking what he did last week or last start at the Cognizant Classic was really good. Golf course that he's played well on before, Cognizant Classic, and here. He won the Players before, and he hit it really well. Ricky had his best ball striking week, gaining about over 6 strokes ball striking. Best ball striking week since TPC Summerlin, which is another Bermuda golf course that asks you to do similar questions. So he's playing well on this style of golf course. He's $6,600, and he should be really, really motivated after not getting into Bay Hill. So I'm definitely down for Ricky at 66. Down towards the bottom of this 6K range, Austin Eckroat finally hit fairways. I want to look at Tom Hoagie's profile because this is a golf course that makes sense for Tom Hoagie. I've been out on him of late, and I'm still out on him. He cannot ball strike it. Last week was all putter. Out on Tom Hoagie. Let's find someone down here. Oh, Laurie Cantor. If you don't know anything about Laurie Cantor, he won the international swing on the DP World Tour, and he absolutely stripes it. So let me read you off Laurie Cantor's last 4 tournaments. 3rd, 1st, T35, 2nd. Yes, that was the DP World Tour, but that's legitimate good golf. We've seen Europeans play here well before. Laurie Cantor's motivated, so I don't mind him at the bottom of the 6K range. And finally, we have the 5K range. Michael Kim at $5,900 might be the chalkiest golfer in the history of golf DFS, but I would not be surprised if Michael Kim makes the cut. I'm going to say right now, don't fall into this trap. Just don't do it. Yes, he's playing good golf, but you're going to get Michael Kim at the most inflated ownership of his entire career. It's not going to end well. It's not. Does it make sense? Yes, he's hitting it so well. But the dude has never finished better than 60th here. This is a really high dog event. You gotta be a really good golfer, and you gotta have the mentality more than anything. And Mike Kim is gonna disappoint. So I'm totally out on him at 59. Just fade him. Please fade him. Towards the top of this 8K range, if you want to go to someone, $5,800 gives you two really good options. Nico Echeverria, 58, and Rasmus Højgaard, 58. If I had to go to one, I would go to Rasmus because the approach play for Nicolas Echeverria is not great. So I think Rasmus is better, or even Nikolai Højgaard at $5,700. Nikolai has been really figuring it out with the ball striking. T18 and T8 in his last 2 starts, and he has not lost strokes on approach since the DP World Tour in October. So I'm definitely down for Nikolai at $6,700 and Rasmus at $6,800. Towards the middle of this 5K range, Alex Smalley, $5,400. He's doing nothing but stripe it. He's not going to finish. He's not going to win, but he could easily finish top 20, top 30, cash you a lineup. And definitely keep an eye on Jacob Bridgman, $5,300. His best results have came on these Bermuda golf courses. T15 at API, T2 at the Cognizant, and he played well at the Cognizant last year. I believe this is his first start at the Players, so get ahead of it while you can. We don't know what kind of golfer he is at the core yet, but he really, really might be a Bermuda man. So he's a guy down at the bottom of the 5K range that you can that you could definitely play. So let's make that Rory and Ludwig lineup. Sorry, not Scotty. Rory and Ludwig. Rory and Ludwig. Okay. I think I made Scotty Ludwig before. I like Rory Ludwig. So if we put Rory Ludwig, we put Bridgman, and Jacob. Dude, we can cook with this. And we can put Nikolai, because I like Nikolai's approach game. And then now this lineup can feed nations. We're working with 86. Well, I mean, Will Zalatoris is going to stripe it. He's going to make the cut if he can find anything with the putter. And then we have $8,600. This lineup, Davis Thompson. This lineup, screenshot this because this man could win you $1 million. I am going to send myself this and put it in probably the $1 million contest this week because I really like this lineup. I really do. So Ludwig, I'm really high on. Rory, I talked about at the beginning of the show. And more than anything, Jacob Bridgman, we just don't know what his ceiling is yet. We really don't. And it could be like in 2 years if we're like, oh yeah, Jacob Bridgman is a great Bermuda golfer. Get ahead of it while you can. $5,300. He's done great things. Nikolai, we know what his ceiling is. Obviously won the Masters last year. Who could forget? And then Will Zalatoris and Davis Thompson. I'm just going to keep chasing that Davis Thompson because the ball striking is there. I promise it's there. He's got to find the putter. So that wraps it up. Any questions for the week? You know where to find me. I'll be live with Dom tomorrow or Wednesday. Not really sure when that is going to go down. So you know where to find us. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you guys later in the week. Peace out.